What's going on, Healthy Alternative? So I'm just going to quickly announce I've got a giveaway going on at the end of this month. So December 1st, I will be announcing the winner. Basically, what we're going to be giving away is a journal, a bracelet, and a t-shirt. So all you got to do to win is to, number one, you have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. You have to like this video. You have to comment this video, and you have to be on the Facebook group. All right. So that's all you got to do to win. You can comment in this video or any videos in November. So any of the videos in November, if you watch them, like them, comment in them, and you qualify, you're a member of the group and the YouTube channel, then you're eligible to win. And I'm going to be doing 3 separate giveaways. So there's 3 chances to win. So good luck. Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today I was asked to talk about how to blend different fasting techniques over the length of an entire fast. So let's say you wanted to do a 30-day fast. How could you best utilize water fasting, juice fasting, and dry fasting? We're going to talk about that today. So stay tuned. We're missing a piece of the puzzle.
You start getting healthy and you just become a better person.
We need to start focusing more on the individual.
All right, so I actually did a video where I talked about this a little bit because this is something I've had some experience with. I did it over the summer where I blended 3 different fasting techniques. And honestly, I planned on doing a follow-up video probably next year sometime, which will be a little bit of a part 2 to that video. But you guys can check that video out. It's called the Ultimate Detox Cleansing Protocol or something like that. It's a really long title and it has ultimate in it. You'll see it. It's in my playlist. Anyway, we're going to talk briefly about how, let's say you're going to do a 7-day fast or a 2-week fast or, something 30 days, something like that, right? How to properly blend different techniques. So ultimately, this is going to be something that is that's going to be unique depending on what results you're looking to get, depending on what you're trying to get out of this. But I will kind of just give you guys a brief overview. So briefly, fasting comes in many different forms. You've got intermittent fasting, you've got water fasting, you've got 1 meal a day, you've got alternate day fasting, you've got dry fasting, soft dry fasting, right? You've got juice fasting, you've got fruit fasting, which isn't really a fast, but whatever. Some people like to utilize fruit. You can use smoothies as well. That's also a very popular one. So here's what you want to do. Step 1, if you're going to be doing a long-term fast, right? This is going to happen over a period of time. You want to make sure you're properly hydrated. That's very important. So what does that mean? Before your fast starts, before you start any of this, make sure that you are drinking. You want to drink as close to a gallon of water a day as is comfortable, okay? And one of the things I've found that since I've been doing this for quite some time, when your body starts to become more hydrated, you don't require as much water. But starting off, if you don't drink a lot of water now and you're not eating a lot of high water content fruits and vegetables, you definitely need water, period. Check out my video on the sun water technique. Make sure that you're energizing your water so that it's more hydrating for you, okay? The more hydrating your liquid is, the less you have to drink of it. So if you have trouble drinking a lot of water, energize your water. Check that video out. So take 5 days to 7 days, hydrate. Eat a lot of fruit, drink a lot of water, and also make sure you stay away from diuretics, things that cause you to expel water. Very, very important. Also, if you're going to do the liver and gallbladder flush before you start fasting, make sure that you rehydrate before you go into it because that can be very dehydrating as well. So you've hydrated before you decide to fast. My recommendation, right, if you're going to do this, go into your first 3 days with a dry fast. That would probably make the most sense because, and once again, it depends on you, but I know for a lot of people, those first 3 days are usually the hardest. So if you dry fast for the first 3 days, yes, you are going to experience an increase in detox symptoms, but they won't be the ones that really want to make you quit early on. Like the ones that really get people to quit early on are usually hunger pains. Though that's usually what it is. Sometimes it's like excessive vomiting and things like that. But most of the time, people would it's a mental thing. It's like, oh, I'm hungry, I want to eat. So if you could start with a dry fast, which actually makes it very, very easy for you to, it makes it very easy for you to get past those hunger pains. Because typically when you don't put any water in your system, your digestive system has the opportunity to shut down 100%. You don't get the hunger pains. It's weird, but that's how it is. So I would start off with the dry fast, and that's going to be determined by, your experience with fasting and where you feel comfortable. It might only be a day. You might be good on day one, right? Like if you're used to fasting and you're usually good on day one or day two, you might not want to hit the dry fast till day 3. So whenever you typically see those hunger pains, boom, that's when you want to insert that dry fast, and do it for as long as what's comfortable and as long as what's safe, right? Because with dry fasting, once again, you got to make sure you're hydrated. And then you also need to make sure, especially if you dry fast for a long period of time, that you come off properly. So make sure that you educate yourself on dry fasting before you do that. Now, when you're coming out of the dry fast, you're going to want to start doing some water. You're going to do some water. And I would also actually incorporate at this point in time some high water content fruit juice if you want to use juice fasting. Just because fruit juice has what's called structured water in it. Structured water is water that our cells use to hydrate. So in addition to sun energizing your water, if you're also consuming water that's already structured from fruit and stuff, that helps you out a lot. Boom. Now you're properly hydrated again. I would only do that for a couple of days, maybe 1 or 2 days. Then you go into like a water fast. When you're gonna bring your dry fast back again is if you get to a point where the hunger pains are trying to get you again, right? If you're getting too hungry, or if you feel like you want to quit because you're hungry, throw another dry fast in there. If that doesn't work, if you need a little bit more, then I would start incorporating 12 ounces of juice per day, or you could do 12 ounces of juice as meal replacements. Instead of eating lunch and dinner, you would just have 12 ounces at lunch at noontime, 12 ounces at 7 or whatever, whenever you have dinner. Now, if you utilize these techniques, you can prolong your fasting cycle indefinitely, really, especially if you have a lot of excess body weight. One of the things people are very, very nervous about when it comes to fasting is, am I going to die? Am I going to faint? Is this going to permanently damage me? Now, depending on who you talk to, you're going to get a different answer. But at the end of the day, the simple answer is no. Okay? Unless you're in some type of really unique and extreme circumstance, you're not going to die from fasting. You're not going to cause yourself permanent damage. Most people have excess body fat, meaning you have way more body fat than what you actually would need. And your body is going to continue breaking that stuff down until it's all the way gone. So if you're dealing with even the smallest of a pouch or a spare tire, you got fat on your obliques, you're not going to even come close to being in a danger zone. What you want to do is just be smart about when you fast, okay? If you stand up and you feel like you got a little dizzy, sit back down, right? Don't allow yourself to faint, because there's going to be times when you stand up too fast because the blood pressure is low or whatever, and you're going to be like, oh, you know what I mean? You're going to feel like you're going to faint. Sit back down. Like I never fainted because when I felt really, really sick, I sat down. Also, if you're at work or whatever, maybe you need to call off that day, right? It just depends on what are you prioritizing? Are you prioritizing work? Are you prioritizing health? I mean, what is it? Depending on what that priority is, that's going to determine what you need to do. If your priority is staying at work, you need to pay bills, blah, 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 drink some juice, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Prolong your fast, though. See, juice fasting is about 3 times less effective than dry fasting. So what you want to make sure to do is, if you do incorporate a lot of juice days, extend your fast out. If you were going to do 2 weeks, do 3 weeks instead. And that'll still give you the same benefit, right? It'll still be very, very beneficial. And it is easier. It is easier to do juice fast. So that is my tip for kind of utilizing different fasting techniques. Obviously, there's way more options. You can incorporate one meal a day into your fasting regimen. You could do one large meal once a week or whatever. Okay. Now, I don't personally recommend that, but if that works for you, go for it. If you're really into exercising and things of that nature, you may want to incorporate a little intermittent fasting in there so that you can continue going to the gym. Because one of the things when you're fasting, you really don't want to put extra stress on your body, especially if you're not acclimated. But if that's important to you, if that's a priority to you, then you want to make sure to utilize some intermittent fasting. So instead of eating all day long, maybe you only eat 2 small meals that day and you go to the gym so that you can, do everything you need to do. Because what happens is when your body is fasting, it's rerouting all of your energy to healing, right? So you're not going to have the energy to really be working out sometimes. It just depends. Depends on how familiar you are with fasting and things like that. But remember, this is an individual journey. My information and my advice is going to be very general. If you guys want something more specific from me, I have to speak to you directly. I've got several different ways for you to do that. You can join the Facebook group. You can check that out. And you can send a message or whatever. I have a Chris James official healthy alternative page on YouTube, which I will link in the description box. And you can ask me questions there. You can check me out on my website, which is healthyalternative.org. I have a consultations tab. You can set up a consultation and we can customize something specifically for you. Or you could just play around with it and take the advice I'm giving you and just play around, see what works best. Either way it goes, there's no excuse. There's always something you could do. There's always a way to do it. If you want to do a 21-day fast, there's always a way to do it, something that will work, whether you're a truck driver. I've got a video talking about strenuous jobs. Check that out, how to fast if you have a strenuous job. That's in my playlist. And there's plenty of options. So I hope something in this was helpful for you. If it was, or if you just like hearing me talk, hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. If you know someone who will benefit from my videos, share them. And as always, the application of knowledge is power, and I will see you guys next time.